Hi there, I'm Stephanie Rule, and welcome to Bouncing Back. All across the U.S., families are facing unprecedented challenges, economic ones, and that's happening even as we're all getting back to work. Inflation is still stubbornly high, and while we're dealing with that, we've got more and more worries that a recession may be coming. So where does that leave everyday Americans? Well, for many, it means tightening already limited budgets, trying to get creative, and stretching every dollar, doing more with less. So I sat down with two families and laid out a financial roadmap for a time that looks like it could be uncertain ahead.
My name is Elizabeth Neiswanger. I live with my husband, my daughter, in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Elizabeth Neiswanger is a stay-at-home mom. Like many families, the pandemic forced her and her husband, Chris, to face some difficult, unprecedented challenges.
My husband, Chris, works at a warehouse. He does maintenance work. He makes $16 an hour. Before the pandemic, he was working in warehousing too. He was doing forklift operation, so he was making significantly more money than he's doing right now.
When Chris lost his job, it really hurt their finances, and eventually, they had to file for bankruptcy.
We had a lot of bills that were past due from the pandemic, and we had some credit cards, which we hadn't had before, and we had some personal loans. We had to make choices between pay rent or pay those bills, and a roof was more important. So those all kind of went to the wayside, and it caught up with us.
Her daughter, Gracie, has special needs, and they recently moved so they could be closer to her medical specialists.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I take care of my daughter. She has nonverbal autism and some health issues, so it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, always-on-call job. More. Good job.
Plus, with groceries costing more, they faced even greater financial strain.
She has some pretty severe dairy and gluten allergies. It's significantly more expensive to cover her needs than a typical toddler might be.
With all of that, for the time being, they've had to let go of their dream of owning a home.
We were trying to build our credit with the bank to get a better score because we were looking to buy a house. I'm a little bit scared. I don't see a whole lot changing. We have a lot at the end of the month. That's coming up.
So I met with Elizabeth to give her some hope and figure out what she can do.
First, I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing this with me. I so appreciate it. Can you tell me just a bit about your life? What has the last year been like? Tell me about your family.
My husband and I, we tried for 8 years to have a child. We finally got pregnant, and we had our daughter about 2 or 3 months before the pandemic started.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Gracie?
Yeah, my daughter, she'll be 3 in November. When she was 2 years old, she was diagnosed with nonverbal autism, and that's kind of when our big journey began. Is that a yum?
Yum.
Yum. It affects her whole system. She needs special diets, and a lot of what she needs is expensive. Go. So it's very hard to do gluten-free when the bread is $6 a loaf and you get one that's like this big. You know, the bread doesn't even fit in those sandwich cutters I bought for her. Good job. All done. Dietary restrictions and stuff has been really difficult with all of this inflation, and it just keeps getting worse.
She is so blessed to have you and your husband as parents.
The family's trying to save money where they can, cutting back on entertainment subscriptions, buying less expensive foods, and not going out so much.
I think that's everything.
My first piece of advice, know where your money's going and start by making a budget.
Do you think you really know where all the money goes right now?
Right now, it's kind of like when the bill shows up, we pay it. I don't really have a plan, to be honest. We end up with 2 different photo storage, so I got that one.
You can also save money on your household bills just by asking.
There's other programs that you could be eligible for, whether it's subsidized Wi-Fi or more nutritional support, other services. When we look at your bills, you might be able to talk to your utility company, other things, and potentially get a break.
We also tackled how they can emerge from bankruptcy stronger than before by starting to build back their credit.
We're going to wipe our slate clean. We know our credit report is damaged. What are we going to do to start cleaning it up? You can get new accounts. You can get what's known as a secure card. And in a secure card, you deposit money into a secure account. And then you're going to get a credit card line that's 50 to 100% of the original deposit. And if you can do this, then you're going to move yourself up to get a more traditional credit card. You also want to reach out to utility companies, and you want to find out if those bills that you're paying every month and on time can show up on your credit report. Because if our goal is to ultimately buy a home, we need to put you in a position where you're improving that credit score. So you want to be able to start showing a good track record.
And we talked about bouncing back in other ways. Saving money doesn't have to mean isolation.
I also want you to take care of yourself. Like, I know this is super hard. I know it is.
Don't make me cry.
I know it is. And it shouldn't be this hard. All you're trying to do is take care of your family, you and your husband. It should not be this hard. And it's easy for me to say, make a tighter budget, but these are basic things, and you just want to take care of your daughter in the best way that you can. You're doing all the right things. You are trying, and we are going to try to give you the tools to make it happen even more, okay?
Thank you.
When we caught up with Elizabeth, she was already heading in the right direction.
One of the things that has been helpful is just having an awareness of where my money is going. So I started to pay a little more attention to our budget and our bank account just by watching what's on sale and going to 2 different stores instead of just one. I was able to save money this week. So like I saved about $25, which, you times that by 4, that's $100 a month that I could be saving if I keep up on this. And actually with the money that I had saved, I was able to get Grace one of her favorite brands of cereal. Ready to eat? Tell mommy eat?
Eat.
Eat, good job. Here's your breakfast. Yum. Yogurt and your favorite cereal.
Her research into a secured credit card turned up a surprising benefit.
We looked into a secured credit card, and we found a couple that should fit our needs. Through researching the secured credit card, we found a bank that was willing to refinance our car for a lower interest rate and a cheaper payment, so that was great.
She's also saving money on her utilities as well.
I had applied for some assistance programs for the gas and the electric specifically, and thankfully we are eligible for assistance on our gas bill. We also checked into the utility companies, and unfortunately, while they weren't able to have our bill being paid on time reported to the credit bureau, they did give us suggestions about using one of those secured credit cards to pay our bill every month and then pay that card off, and that would help our credit out as well.
Despite what many call a return to normal, the lingering effects of the pandemic are real. And some of those who have been hardest hit are American teachers. Well, in Philadelphia, I met 2 teachers of family that are working hard but still facing serious challenges.
My name is Njamele Anderson. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania with my family. I've been teaching for 17 years. I'm making enough money to keep my head above water. And that shouldn't be in this profession.
As groceries have gotten more expensive, she's had to start using her credit card to pay for shopping.
I have this other credit card that I use for food shopping because I cannot go to the market and spend $300 and $400 and give you my debit card. But I have to do that now. Food prices are outrageous. We have our chicken wings, $17.93. Again, store brand, not name brand.
Njamele also has student loans to pay off, plus $15,000 in debt on one credit card with a high interest rate.
If I keep making the minimum payments in 30 short years, I'll be finished. I pay them faithfully every month, and I cannot wait to pay them off. And one of the things that I would like to be able to do is double my payment to pay them off faster. But I cannot do that now.
Her husband has even taken up a side gig driving for a rideshare company to bring in extra cash.
It helps to make ends meet and have a little extra so that we can do some things that we enjoy. So we're not just working to pay bills, but we're able to do some other things, like maybe go out to dinner, go on vacation or anything like that.
So we sat down together to go over areas where she could be saving and strategizing.
Well, first, I want to say I'm grateful for what you do. One of the most important professions out there. So thank you. You've been in school for the last 2 weeks. Tell me a little bit about what the last few weeks have been like.
The last few weeks have been okay. The students are coming to school. Everyone's there. So it's been pretty good.
Everyone's there. Everyone's healthy. I want to talk about a certain part of your health. Tell me a little bit about your family's financial health.
Well, as you have already stated, me and my husband, we're both teachers. So we're not rolling in the money. Before I would go to the market, I'd be able to use my debit card to pay for my groceries. Now I'm using a credit card because things are so high. And things where we had a little savings, that has dwindled down. And we have like things we need to have repaired in the home, but we really can't do that now.
One important financial habit she already has, an excellent credit score.
Do you have credit card debt right now?
Oh, yes. And I am a credit score fanatic.
Good for you.
Yes. I guard it like I guard my children. But I am carrying debt. And that's not something that I do.
I'm going to tell you, I'm worried about that card with interest rates where they are. And guess where they're headed? Up. If you're only paying interest, then we're never going to be paying these things down. And we don't want you to be paying for groceries you ate last week a year from now.
Amen.
Njamele was already doing a great job at keeping her costs low, but there's always ways to save more. So I came up with some homework assignments to help her out. My advice, keep a spending journal.
I want you to write down everything you're spending money on. Everything. Even though you think like you're keeping things really tight, we could end up finding little places that you're spending and you don't realize it, and we can cut out.
Okay.
So I don't want you to change your spending. Just write down everywhere that you're spending. Can you do that?
Absolutely.
And we talked about tackling those credit cards with high interest rates.
There is nothing worse than just paying interest and end up paying late fees, because you are just spending money on nothing. Like, to me, that's what kills me. So that's what I want to really tackle.
One way to pay them off faster, look for credit cards that offer promotions of low or even zero interest rates, so you can transfer your most expensive debt and pay off more of that balance. Njamele had her work cut out for her with those homework assignments. So a bit later, I checked in to see how she was doing.
Hey, good to see you.
Hello.
I love your t-shirt.
Thank you.
The last time we talked, I asked you to keep track of your spending, a spending diary, keep track of all your bills, your credit card statements, and just any expenses that are unaccounted for. So what'd you find?
I have it all right here.
All right. And you did it on the back of an envelope, so you didn't even waste a new piece of paper.
Nope, did it right on the back of a bill.
I love it.
And when everything was totaled up, Njamele and her husband found out they have a little cash left over at the end of the month.
So together for the month, we have about $2,600. But that does not take into account the credit card that I use for food. That doesn't take into account the overpayment that I make on that, so that I'm not carrying the fees.
But while she still has that big credit card debt to pay off, Njamele says she's found a good credit card to transfer her debt.
21 billing cycles, 0 APR, like if I transfer my balance.
Love it. Do you think over 20 billing cycles, how much of that 15 grand can we hack away? Can we knock out? I think you can knock out a lot.
Yeah, probably the $6,363 worth of it.
I think you could knock out more. If you have, and I'm not saying, oh, you have $1,000 extra a month, but like, if you've got even $500 to play with, like you got 20 billing cycles, you can get to 15 grand. I know you can. You will feel like such a free woman if you do. I would be totally liberated.
And we tried to figure out how to still put away those extra dollars into savings.
Rather than you just have that $1,000 surplus, whatever that number is, I'd love for you to just consider if you have any goals. It could be Christmas gifts, it could be a couch, it could be a trip, anything that you have in 6 months, 9 months, a year, put that money away. If you just leave it, it's going to disappear.
You are absolutely right. And I think that is, you're speaking to my spirit right now, Stephanie, because I do want to go somewhere. I do want to do something. So you are definitely speaking to my spirit right now.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful.
It was immensely.
Well, my best to you, my best to your husband, your daughter, your dog, your whole family. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.